I think it's always good to start a talk with the obvious. I preach way too long. I have good motives. Much of my thought processes, which are conscious or unconscious, is from a coach, an athlete, not any longer, but as a lifetime child athlete, teenage athlete. And oftentimes I get to the pulpit and my mindset is it's halftime and we're losing. So that's where my excitement comes from. Want to motivate. When the Cubs in the 10th inning, when it started raining against Cleveland, they were playing Cleveland, and when they got a homily, who gave the homily? The catcher, right? Second baseman? Jason Hayward. Thank you, Jason Hayward. He gave them a homily, and they went out and they won the World Series. Unconsciously, part of who I am as an athlete. So that's what I'm always thinking. Now, if you think that's bad, long homilies. Starting Wednesday, I have a confirmation class for adults who have not been confirmed. If you're willing to endure 4 2-hour sessions, the bishop will confirm you. So you got a 20-minute deal, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Imagine 4 times 2 hours. Now, since I brought that up, it's very important. I start the class with this lesson. And don't answer this. It's rhetorical. This is how I start the class. What does religion mean? The word religion mean? Most people don't know. They're religious. They have opinions. What does the word in Latin, the etymology of the actual word, legion mean? Let me help you. You know what legion means? Many. It's a legion of soldiers. When Jesus approached this man possessed by a devil, he says, "What's your name?" What did the guy say? "We are legion, and we are many." That guy was possessed by a lot of devils. It's many. What's the re? It's binding. Religion literally means, the etymology is binding the many together. Into what? The love of God. So when you were children and they said, here is the church, here is the steeple, open the doors, and here are the people. What are the people? They're bound together. It's religion. Simple, good visual aid, and if I might add, deeply insightful. Religion is binding the many together into the love of God. Now we got to go further from that. I will spare you a 2-hour class. But that's a good first start. What does religion mean? In the second reading, well done, love. Let me give you part of the class. Love. We came from love. If you want to keep thinking we came from apes, that's your business. I'm not saying you're wrong. But whether you came from an ape by evolution or God made you the way the book of Genesis said, either way, you came from love. Father, where are we going? To the cosmos, to another planet, to dirt, and to an ending? You're going back to love. Anybody want to take a guess on why you're here? It's to love. That's the deepest part of our religion. Love. And as Father Bishop Barron, I'm bragging now, he was my teacher. He's now the bishop. Robert Barron, he didn't have to say this. It's already been known. That chapter in Corinthians, it's the 13th chapter, I believe. 13th chapter. There is no greater expression of love in all of literature. If you ever doubt why are you a Catholic Christian or why do you follow Jesus, nobody in the history of literature in the world has ever described love so beautifully, so specifically. Most marriages use that reading in their wedding, and as they should. Okay, so that first starts. Let's go to the gospel real quick. Did you notice in the gospel, again, back to being an athlete. This is very important. I'm the coach. If you didn't show up for the game, if you missed practice, I'm sorry. Where am I putting you? Go on the bench. You're going on a bench. And I apologize. I will apologize for those who aren't athletes, who kind of come in and out of church or just want to check a box. I've passed checking boxes a long time ago. I want to win with God's love. I want to grow in God's love. I want to give God's love. I want on my tombstone, and I got a long way to go. This guy knew he was deeply loved by God and tried to give love by God. Notice in the gospel, because you might not have listened carefully enough. I need people reading the gospel before they come to Mass. Again, I can't make this a rule. You want to humor me? You come to Mass, read the gospel before you come, because you're going to catch what happened. Father, what happened? Thanks for asking. These people were such attentive listeners. They were so exuberant with enthusiasm. And then what happened? He said some things, and their enthusiasm turned to murderous rage. Hey, Jesus, this is awesome. Hey, you know what? The mob mentality rose up. Let's kill him. Just like that. They went from, hey, this is great, to let's kill him. What would he have said to have caused that? What could you say for someone, let me stay focused. Good luck with that. What would he have said? What would he have said? Think about this. This is a great question. And again, if I had more time, I'd ask you. Maybe some of you have an idea. What did he say that made them turn from exuberant, enthusiastic joy to let's kill this guy? I'll tell you what he said. He challenged their fundamental belief, their foundational dogma that the Jews are chosen alone and salvation is for them alone. Jesus said, no. Elijah didn't go to a Jew. Elijah went to a woman from Zarephath in the town of Zion. It wasn't a Jew he came to. The Jews were like, what? You're messing with our ethnicity. You're messing with our national pride. You're challenging our religious doctrines. Kill him. That's what happened. That's what happened. So what's your point? Got a lot of points, obviously. Got a lot of points. Jesus ushers in a new religion, a new way of thinking. God, we all know this. Again, this is going to come out in my class. You can still go to class if you've been confirmed. If you don't like me, you won't like the class. But if I'm in any way charming or enlightening or entertaining, you will like the class. And some people do come to the class. And you can go in and out. You can go get your coffee or, you can eat. I don't care. Bring your ribs or your tacos, whatever you're into. I don't care. But make sure you're willing to share. Anyway, most Christians believe this. Most Christians believe that God started the Jewish religion through Abraham. Most Christians believe this. That in the fullness of time, he sent his son, born of a woman. And the son ushered in a new and everlasting covenant, perpetuated and made present in this, most especially in this universal, holy, and apostolic church. I'm moving on. The Catholic Church was founded by Jesus Christ. It's the truest, I'm connecting religion to the Catholic Church. This universal, holy, and apostolic church, the Catholic religion founded by Jesus, who is God, is the truest and best access to God's love and to fulfill to the best of our potentials God's plan for the salvation of the world. And it comes through Holy Communion. Now, let's go backwards before we go forwards. Today is Super Bowl Sunday. If you're a Bear fan, you remember the ball, the kick. If you don't play football, I'm sorry, I'll slow it down. The Chicago Bears, greatest team ever, had a chance to be in the Super Bowl. But they got this guy who kicks the ball. And he kicked the ball through those things called the uprights. And it went in. But prior to the kick, the other team's coach called a timeout. That's called icing. Not icing on the cake, freezing the guy. In basketball, there's a statistic that the more shots you hit, the more shots you're going to hit. Once a guy gets on, as a former basketball, you're on. You feel like that. You ever see Jordan in his heyday? I mean, he was just on. The guy was on fire, just raining him down. Woo, boom. I was over by you don't have to believe me. This is on tape. I was at the Maine beach. I was at the Maine beach once, about 5 years ago, outside. True story. You don't have to believe me. I don't care. Some guy, I never met the guy before in my life. He was rebounding. I hit 10 three-pointers in a row. I was on fire. So anyway, the guy kicks the field goal. It doesn't count. He kicks the field goal again. It hits the upright. It hits the base of the upright. And the Bears lose. Very sad. This is sad face. Sad. Some Packer fans, happy. You got it. Good. Everyone who laughed was an athlete. If you laughed, could you get it? I got no problem with that. If it happened to the Packers, me, happy. Now, but there's some Packer fans and some Bear fans who want their conference leader to win the Super Bowl. We're getting into the weeds. Let's move on. But it's sad. The Bears could easily be in the Super Bowl. Now, if you're a Saints fan, for those who don't, we got a guy at the coffee club. He doesn't go to church. His wife goes to church. It's kind of a sad story. He's a nice man. He served in the Air Force, was detailed to Okinawa. Great guy. And he always says, let's go to church. He goes, you know what my favorite saint is? I say, who? He says, Drew Brees. Anyway, if you don't know football, you might not know this. The Saints, the sports involves human beings. There's cameras, but some calls are left without cameras. They're left to the officials on the field. Wow. The refereeing, the officials made an error in judgment that you could argue, and they are arguing cost them the Super Bowl. I think that's my opinion. I think it's true that there was a totally blown call. Father, why are you telling us this? What does it have to do with anything? I wrote it down somewhere. It has something to do with something. Here it is. Something to be behind the scenes could have been done. I see it in a hardship. Makes sense, but but human errors, the officials miss. No. Okay. Here it is. Here's the point. Hey, it's okay to mock me. I deserve it. Too many people constantly relive past offenses. I suspect there are some Bear fans, and I know there's a lot of Saints fans. They will not enjoy the game tonight. Too many people constantly relive past offenses, poor choices, or missed opportunities. Get some healing. Go to confession. For those of you you go to mass all the time, you don't go to confession. Go to confession. Get rid of this stuff. How about this idea? Move on. So, I don't want to mention who he is. The fellow sitting in the front seat, he's my running back. I'm the coach. He's really good. I'm making this story up. Don't worry. I'm making it up. He's really good, but he fumbles the ball. We're in a big game and he fumbles the ball. I'm a really good coach. He's a really good athlete. He fumbles the ball. What do you think my next play is going to be? I'm going to give him the ball. That sounds crazy. No, I want him back in. I want him to move on. I don't want him to be frozen in his past mistakes. People do that spiritually all the time. They relitigate past offenses, missed opportunities. Well, I could have done this, I could have done that. Yeah, and I could have been Warren Buffett. Big deal. You are who you are, and God gave you certain gifts and blessings and privileges and honors. Focus on them. Don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you do have and the potential you do have and who you could be. What is hope if not a future-orientated virtue? Think about this. So where does this all go? That's a great point by itself. And we got to move on to enjoy the game. And in this case, the beauty of living in the moment. People don't live in the moment. They're busy back in their past. And it's sad. It happens in marriage all the time. Stop it. Do you remember that one? Stop with it. Whether it's the husband or the stop. It's hard enough staying married. Would you encourage me, please? Can you be the bigger spouse? Can you wise up to forgive me? Is forgiveness ever possible? Or are you going to hold this over my head for the rest of my life? You're going to hold this over my head the rest of my life. I told you I was sorry. I made a mistake. I wasn't thinking. I'm responsible. I get it. But don't keep jabbing me with it. Parents to kids. Parents, it's all the time. Me and Father Simon, I got to stop. Just got to move on. So, we missed the moment. We're almost done. We missed the moment. The first reading, these are three more principles, quickly. The first reading, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. If you're a Christian, I'm just telling you this, and don't walk out of church. I'm not going to get graphic or get obnoxious. The Christian code, the same way the Jews rose up and attacked Jesus because he said something contrary to their code and they wanted to kill him, there is attacks on unborn innocent life. The Christian religion, not just the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is the mother of all Christians. All Christians. If you're a Christian, if you disagree with me, my phone number is published. The moment of conception defines human life. The moment of conception defines human life. If you've had an emotional experience, if you need healing, if you need a conversation, if you need reconciliation, if you have an intellectual, you won't have a scientific. If you have a philosophical argument, please, please, I beg you, reach out to a priest. Maybe it's not me you want to talk to. Maybe it's Father Evans. Maybe I'll get you Monsignor Hermes over. Well, I won't give you a cell phone. I'll give you a number you can reach him. You got to get out. You got to get over this stuff. As a people of God, we got to move on. We got to get healing here. We got to get together. We got to be a team. We got to agree. Life has value. What's going on now, and I'm not going to bring it up in the news with certain states, I can't talk about it from the pulpit. It's evil beyond. People think possession is the worst. People think, I don't want to get into this because I ran around with some crazy guys. People think murder is the worst. People think adultery is the worst. These are horrible things. What's going on now is much worse. And people don't know about it. So what's your point? I'll just read what Jeremiah said from the Holy Spirit. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Okay, we'll close the homily. Boom, boom. Last point. Economics, it ties together, don't worry. Economists, politicians, news media people, you, others. A lot of people talk about income inequality, rightly or wrongly. Income inequality. Watch how I tie this together. People talk about this. Why are the rich rich? Why are the poor poor? Good, these are good questions. I'm looking at Angelo. We go to Haiti. I have a commitment to the poor. I want to bring them up. I don't want to hand down. I want to hand up. I already know where money goes. I know where, and programs that, rightly or wrongly, here's what I leave you with. What is more equal? What is more equal than everyone around the globe having the same access to Holy Communion? What is more equal? The greatest wealth and treasure on earth is the most Holy Eucharist. The Catholic Church has the Holy Eucharist. It's the same moment we were instituted when he said, do this in remembrance of me. The Catholic Church in Holy Communion has achieved for those who seek God's greatest gift, the Holy Eucharist, spiritual income equality. If people knew what I was talking about, the attendance at today's game and those who watched it would be happening in every city, in every country around the world every day. Give us this day our daily bread.